Welcome to Promote, Profit, Publish. I'm your host, Juliet Clark, and we have another really great guest for authors today. So listen up because we got some important stuff to say about video and a platform where you should be promoting if you're an expert and you're not. So before we get started, I want to remind you, go over to Breakthrough Author Magazine. You can find it at www.breakthroughauthormagazine.com. Go get your free subscription. You're going to get tips and tricks. I just shared something on another podcast that probably most of you don't know about the publishing world. So be sure you go get your copy of it. And then also go over and follow us on YouTube. You're going to see Nina, who's on today live, as well as everybody else. And we are actually on Rumble as well. So if you go look for the podcast over on Rumble, we're just starting to put our information, our podcast over there as well. So today's guest is a repeat, but she's going to talk about something new today. Her name is Nina Froriep. You can probably see it right in the corner of the screen there. And she enables mission-driven entrepreneurs to grow their businesses with consistent and easy to implement video marketing through one-on-one coaching or peer learning. She was a filmmaker. I guess she still is a filmmaker, producer, and director with over 30 years experience and a small business owner of 23 years. She's seen it all. She's kind of like me. We're about the same age, only she's younger and prettier. But she's seen it all from the early days of independent features to big national TV commercials, corporate mega shows, and many documentary films, including one that she wrote. That's pretty excited, directed and produced about Muslim kids in New York called Abraham's Children. In short, there's no film and video production scenario that she hasn't taken care of. I would love to hear some stories sometimes because I have stories too from my celebrity real estate days. They are I don't know, a crew unto themselves. So along the journey, she's met many, many awesome, wonderful people, a few badasses, all of them worth a few great stories. She's worked with Sophia Loren, John Malkovich, Wynton Marsalis, and she's interviewed Fortune 500 CEOs. She's also worked on Emmy-winning and Emmy-nominated documentaries and produced hundreds of videos for Uber corporate shows. She's negotiated with Teamsters. Wow, that must have been something. You're lucky you didn't end up like Jimmy Hoffa.
Not yet.
Not yet. So the Teamsters, clients, crews, children, police officers, a few dogs, and one snake. We need to stop about the one snake. On a personal note, she's into sports. That kind of goes outdoors every moment possible. Central Park is her backyard. She knows every inch of it. She's also a certified citizen pruner. What the hell is a citizen pruner?
I'll tell you about it.
Which affords her the privilege to prune, take care of, and advocate for the city trees of New York. She's lived in Harlan for close to 20 years, and since April 2011 is the proud owner of an American passport. Okay, welcome Nina Pruner. First of all, what the hell is a certified pruner? I have a degree in horticulture, but nobody ever certified me to prune anything.
No, it's very simple. New York City has, lousy budgets, and somebody has to take care of the trees in the streets. And there's just the Parks Department just doesn't have the resources. So they came up with a pretty rigorous, I didn't know how rigorous it was. I don't think I would have signed up had I known. It's a course that you take and you learn how to identify trees and what makes trees happy, especially, New York City trees. And then they give you a little pass. And with that pass, you're allowed to walk around with a saw this size and with clippers that can clip someone's arm off. And then you go around and you take care of the trees in your neighborhood. And it's just the coolest thing ever.
So I know there's a lot of crime in New York City now. Are you ever mistaken for
So
thug?
we were told, yeah, we were told in no uncertain terms that we're not to be seen outside with a saw. Literally, I have two saws that are like this big,
Uh-huh.
without we have a little laminated card that, by the way, anybody with halfway decent Photoshop skills could copy at any given moment. But that's besides the point. And I always make sure I bought myself one of those worker vests, the fluorescent things in orange and
Yeah.
yellow. I
Mhm.
bought one of those. And then if I wear that, nobody bothers me. If I don't wear it, then people come up.
So you look like the protesters in Paris.
I guess so. Yeah, the yellow jackets. Exactly.
There you
Yeah.
go. Well, interesting. So now you guys know something a little bit about Nina. She has a great sense of humor. Talk to us. Last time you were here, you talked about video. Talk to us a little bit about, how that video relates to thought leadership.
I mean, to me, it's the A and the O, as we say I guess in German. It's like the end all. I think, thought leadership. I mean, we're talking about authors, so people who feel most comfortable with the written word and in print. But I also think that there is a space for that same kind of thought leadership in video. And when I say video, I'm not talking about, highly produced, super expensive to create videos. I'm talking about essentially what the two of us are doing right now, right?
Mhm.
So a Zoom call, or just you and in the privacy of your home and your phone, and to just create some videos where you can really talk about or expand on what it is that you're writing about. What is your expertise? Why is it your expertise? What lights you up about it? And also, it gives a great opportunity for you to connect with your readership, and essentially also who I assume will be your clients down the road, in a way that is just much more approachable, relatable. And in the end, video works for you 24/7. It's sort of the assistant that keeps selling while you're sleeping, writing, enjoying a good book of your own, or whatever else it is that makes your life go round, right?
Right. So, just like you said, most authors really comfortable with the written word, but video scares the hell out of them because they're not polished in front of it. But it's really not about that. It's about getting
No.
comfortable and being authentic. So,
Yeah.
can you give us some tips on, how do you do that? Because I mean, I think I'm like most people where I record a video, then I look at it and I just pick it apart.
No, there's no picking apart. So I think, there's two kinds of videos. I mean, there's many different, but for the sake of this argument, you kind of have the super polished videos, and then you have sort of the do-it-yourself videos. And we're clearly talking about do-it-yourself videos here. And you don't want those to be too perfect. You don't want those to be, trying too hard with like, a teleprompter that you obviously are reading while you are talking, right? Or some bed sheet hanging out behind you that's all crinky and looking awful. So it really is about you and your environment showing up, and the focus is on what you are saying. And I think a lot of us, I mean, look, I've had a career entirely behind the camera. And if somebody had told me that after the age of 50, I was going to find myself in front of the camera, I would have called them crazy and told them to go and take a hike.
Mhm.
And I was not happy at all being in front of the camera. I started about 6 years ago with this. But I also learned that it's not about me and how I look and how young or how old or how skinny or how pimply or how big my nose is or not. It really is about people being able to relate to me, finding me simpatico, wanting to get on a call with me to talk further and find out whether working together is a good idea, or whether, they just want to pick my brain. Fine, that too. But it just allows for people to consume content and get to know you in a way that they otherwise wouldn't. And the relatability that you're creating, I like to call that brand affinity. So it's not just brand somebody who's like attached to a brand because they like the brand and it's a brand recognition, or like, you know, you are known for writing books about XYZ. It is now, you know, that's why so many people want to do TED Talks, because once they've been out in the audience, once they've been on that stage, once people have related to them, you know, their book sales go through the roof. They have a completely different standing within the community and within their ecosystem of their readership and viewership. And you know, not all of us can do a TEDx talk or have the time to, you know, plan for one and get in. So creating videos like this is just like, it's the next best thing, if not even better, because you can keep creating the videos. You know, I call the videos that I create tissue videos, because they're one and dones, right? I have an idea, I have a thought I want to share, I've learned something new that I want to share with my people. I create a quick video, I put it on social media. If I'm lucky, a couple of hundred people see it, and then it goes into an archive on YouTube and we're done. And then I create the next video. And even if I'm talking about something similar, I'd rather create a new video than go and dig out the old one. And then, oh, shoot, the date, there's a date on it, I need to change the date, blah, 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 blah. Not worth it. It's just faster, quicker to create a new video. Yeah. And getting used to seeing yourself, that is just in the doing of it.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. But I'm going to dive into something a little different here, which it's not just all about you on video. I'm going to share with you guys, back when COVID started, I wouldn't say I'm a pack rat because I'm not, but I'm one of those that I had boards back there, like my production boards. And Nina was the first one that said, may I revamp the back of your, you know, what's going on back here. So hence the painting and stuff. So that's something that we don't necessarily think about either, is, you know, that board was me. That was me and my production board. It was me and my, you know, I save golf stuff. You know, like my knickknack area back there. So there's a little more to it than just that, what's in your background as well. Yep. So I'm going to tell you guys, before we jump into the LinkedIn Live, what I love most about Nina. Well, not most, because it's going to sound really shallow, but Nina's emails. When we have something at the end of the show where you can opt in, you need to go opt in. I opt out of everybody's emails at the end of the year, and I don't ever opt out of hers. They are funny. They are just like talking to her, and she always has an image in them. So you're going to have to go see for yourself. They always catch my eye. I didn't unsubscribe her this year. That's actually a privilege, Nina. So go check out.
I told my partner, and we all were both very proud. So
good. So what we're really going to talk about today is, when you're an authority, you're an expert, you need to be on LinkedIn. And LinkedIn's newest thing, which they've been rolling out forever, but now most people have it, is LinkedIn Live. So tell us a little bit about that and how people can use it and why they need to use it.
So, I mean, on the data-driven side of it, Live just trumps everything else, right? Live trumps video, it trumps PDFs, it trumps JPEGs, or just a written word in terms of posting. So if you go live on LinkedIn, you know, the algorithm sort of goes like, ooh, something's happening. And it goes and it puts that content in front of more people than it would with just a regular post. For many people now, our bread and butter is not live. Our bread and butter is pre-produced videos. But the beauty of live is actually that once you go, you go. So that can be intimidating, yes, but it can also be a great way of not having to deal with production, with editing afterwards. I mean, you still can, of course, and I would actually tell you to do so in a second. But it just really allows you, again, it allows you to take advantage of what video is so good for. And it takes away a little bit of that whole sort of setup and how I'm going to, it makes it a little bit more spontaneous. And in terms of production value, in terms of the lighting, in terms of, you know, the whole setup, the expectations are yet even lower. So you can get away with stuff on LinkedIn Live that you might not be able to get away with on a pre-produced video. And then there's something, there's a huge element that is the interactive element. So while you are on a live and, when you don't have that many followers yet in the beginning, I would make sure that you have a couple of people who know that you're going live and when you're going live, so they can come over and start asking you questions and interact with you. And that's the beauty of live, is that you do have that live interaction with your audience where they can ask questions, they can give you feedback, they can, talk back to you. And it creates sort of a even further layer of relatability and authenticity that with a pre-produced video, especially nowadays with deep fakes around and everything else, that this is kind of the real thing right then and there.
Mm-hmm. And differentiate that a little bit, because that was one of the things I ran into a couple of weeks ago, is somebody followed me and I was like, what's the difference between that and, subscribing or connecting? So
Connecting.
Yeah.
So that it's a little bit outside of my area of expertise, but the way I understand it is that when you switch your account from being, regular Joe Schmo, and sorry to all the Joes Schmoes out there, to being a creator in creator mode, then people don't connect with you first and foremost, they follow you. And follow you just means a click of a button, and now they follow you. They don't have to send you a connection request, which you then approve. They still can do that, but it's under the three dots and under more, and then they have to scroll down and click on connect. So if I want to really be connected with somebody or bring somebody into my ecosystem, I make sure I don't just follow them, I also connect them. So what seems to have happened is, for years, when you wanted LinkedIn Live, you had to apply. And there was a form that you needed to fill out, and they asked you a million questions. And the first 3 times I applied and got denied, I wrote like a whole book on, why I was worthy of LinkedIn Live.
Right.
And
I did too.
By the fourth time I was like, F this. And I just wrote because, and I got it. I'm like, oh, okay. But now it seems that everybody who's has put their profile into creator mode, automatically got the LinkedIn Live.
Yeah. And it sounds like, you guys, from what she and I were talking about earlier, that if you had things going on there, you may have been put in creator mode, because I don't remember ever putting myself in. But
Okay.
I always have videos on there. So I'm assuming that they probably took all their applications, you 4 times, and then F you, and just put you in it.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I still am one of the early adapters. So I got, the permission, like, I don't know, 2 years ago, and I had 6 weeks time to go live for the first time. Otherwise they would take it away from you again. And I think those are all, past times. I even got permission to do lives on my company profile, and I never submitted for that. So I don't even know how I got that.
That's actually where I found mine, was on my company profile.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So on that, so LinkedIn Lives, what is the optimal? Because it used to be that they didn't want you to upload a video that was any longer than, I think, 6 or 9 minutes.
10 minutes.
Was it 10 minutes?
Yeah.
So what about with the lives? Same thing? You have to
no lives, you can go forever. I mean, I would imagine that there's a cutoff, but I think it's like a couple of hours in. I have the number in my head is 6 hours, but I might totally be making that up. So the LinkedIn Lives are basically as long as you want them to be. Mine, I do one or have been doing one every other week for 1.5 years, nearly 2 years now. And they've all been in the range between 30 minutes and an hour, depending on how much the guests. And so I don't do lives by myself. I'm still chickening out on that. I do lives in, like what you and I are doing. I do live on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I saw that.
And you've been a guest. So those can go pretty much as long as you want. What you need to know is that you can't go live directly like you can on Facebook. You have to do it through a host. Most people use StreamYard. I find them to be, what I love about StreamYard is there's not a lot of buttons to press, because I'm the kind of person who would press every button and to see what's behind it. And before I know it, it's 3 days later and I've lost 3 days of my life I'll never get back again. And and StreamYard has very few avenues to explore. And I'm very thankful for that. And it's a very easy to navigate software, and you can multi-stream. So I stream, when I stream, I just do Facebook and YouTube as well. Not because I'm really active on those channels. It's more like because I can.
Right. And I think the quality of what you do on LinkedIn is a lot different too, now that you've brought up Facebook. So we've all been on those where, I used to do Facebook Lives all the time where I jump on after running and, do a message, and, I was trying to be authentic and it just meant unshowered.
No, LinkedIn is a different ball game.
Exactly.
It's interesting that you bring that up, because I just had invited, I was so mortified. I'm in a couple of LinkedIn pods, which are sort of communities where you all come together and you post at the same time, and then you all interact with each other's content to sort of, get the algorithm blood going, and or juices, I should say. And I invited this woman into this very serious pod I'm in, which is a freebie pod, but it's very well run. And the first post she posted was about showing off your SaaS. And she had a video, and the video was like, if you want to show how great you are. And she was and I was like, oh my God, this might be okay content for Facebook, but it's completely inappropriate. Not inappropriate for LinkedIn as much as it was really inappropriate for this group. And I think, it's really, yes, you want to be authentic, but you also want to be professional. I think LinkedIn, yes. And I do see every once in a while people complaining about, people are bringing are treating LinkedIn like Facebook, blah, blah, blah. And I was thinking oh, that's a content police. I mean, if you don't like it, then you don't watch it and you just scroll to the next thing. And I see a lot of people, like there was a young woman the other day who posted about something. She got married or something, and she was apologizing for putting that on LinkedIn. I'm like, no, I think that's just human, right? I mean, that's a huge thing in your life. You want to share that. But you also, want to be seen the way you want your clients to see you, or in this case, your readership to see you. I tell my clients, pick between 3 and 5 things that you want to talk about that are not work, and then stick to them. Because what it does is you then know what you're going to talk about, and you're not going to start oversharing. And for those who are very, very shy, it does the reverse. It sort of gives you a couple of topics to latch onto that you can feel okay with. And it also gives your readership and your viewers and your followers a feeling that they actually get to know you. So like in my case, everybody knows I split my time between Switzerland and New York. They know I have a dog who rules my life. And they know that I've started, artwork, and that I love the great outdoors. And then there's, the occasional glass of wine. So I think that's sort of, and I kind of try to stick with that and not because I don't want people to not know about my life. It's more that I don't want to overwhelm people. And these are great topics. And, between artwork, dog, and the great outdoors, you can go for a couple of decades without running out of content.
Yeah, exactly. But you bring up a bigger point, which, I've mentioned before, is having platform appropriate content. Because one thing that used to drive me crazy, I had an author several years ago who had a business in California. I'm not going to mention who, what, where, how, but she would post drama, ex-husband drama on Facebook. And then I would see it over on LinkedIn. And my first thought was, why would I ever hire her to sell my home with that much drama going on? Would she be able to give me personal attention? So you really do have to be careful what you post over in that area. So we're going to switch gears a little bit, because we were going to also talk about the press releases that we've been doing with the company that we use for press releases for the authors, and a video. When we use video on that, we get a higher click rate.
Of
So
course.
can you
Yeah.
talk about a little bit about what kinds of videos I mean, everybody obviously knows a trailer, but you could also,
Mhm.
a book trailer, but you could also do a live, 30, 90-second video as well. So what kinds of things would that look like for someone that's has put a book together?
Yeah, so I would just want to make sure that we're clear on our nomenclature. So I would never do a live, like as in a live from a Facebook or Instagram, or sorry, Facebook. That is, 90 seconds, because you need on the live, you need people to actually find you, show up, and be there for you.
Mhm.
But you can create a video that you shoot with your phone. If you don't know how to set up your phone, you can shoot it by yourself on Zoom and download it afterwards.
That's what I do a lot.
There are, when the Zoom has that lovely filter that makes you look a lot younger than what you actually are.
Oh,
So,
where is that?
um,
No,
oh, you don't know about that?
I don't know about that.
You really don't, or you're
So
joking?
no, I'm not joking. So next show, you guys, I will be 22. No.
Yes. That's why you thought I was 10 years younger.
There you go.
No, there is if you go command comma while you are in Zoom in the settings under, I think even general or on the video, there is a slider under the video thing, and it says enhance your appearance. And you don't want to go all the way to the right, because then you're totally out of focus. But it does take a little bit of the edge off. So totally
There we
recommend that.
go. So
Yep.
Zoom, the filter, or
yes.
wine. No.
There you go.
What's that thing? Everybody's pretty at 2 a.m. No.
Yes. Or after 3 glasses of wine. Yeah, exactly. Or 4 or 5. Anyway, where were we? Yes, press releases. So again, it's the same thing. If you're gonna go through the pain of creating a press release and writing the whole thing, and having, I assume you're talking about Shannon help you with that, and you put together all the reasons why you're the most fantastic person ever, and why your book is the best book ever, and why people absolutely have to read it and recommend it and share it with all their friends and colleagues and family. You might as well create a small video that has people, again, see you talk about what it is that your passion is, because that passion doesn't come out in a quick little press release, right? But it can come out on video. And I think that is really where, and what, let me finish one sentence. Where you really can bring so much more content and sub content to the table with a video. The other thing is, if I am the person in a newspaper or in any kind of news outlet tasked with finding interesting stuff on all the different media outlets that are there, if something has a video to it, you betcha I will click on that over reading 20 paragraphs of words.
Mhm.
So it just really, I've done press releases with and without video, and I find that the ones without video, I get no traction whatsoever. And the ones with video, I've always gotten amazing traction. So, and then we're talking not even double or triple, we're talking
A
hundredfold.
lot more.
So,
Yeah. We
Yeah.
usually, when we use video, we get picked up by between 500 and 600 outlets. So
Yeah.
it's
And
much
it
higher.
can be, and if you're nervous, do something like we're doing. Ask a friend to interview you, ask a couple of questions, ask Juliet to interview you for 10 minutes on Zoom, and then give it to an editor to cut it up and create a couple of little snippets. I mean, it really does not have to be something super complicated.
It doesn't. And then, we always have it hosted over on YouTube or Vimeo. So every time you get that click too, that's just another hit over there that hits the algorithm. So it's a win-win in a couple of ways
Yeah.
with all of that. So I know that you call them cohorts. I call them courses, because you're
Yep.
much more sophisticated than I am. So
Oh,
when is your next
yes.
cohort? Where can we find you if we want to get in on some of this training and be really super good on it? In fact, good enough to know that there are actually filters, because Juliet didn't know.
Well, yeah, I don't talk about filters in the cohort, but I mean, yes, probably I should. So the cohort, well, the beauty of the cohort is it's no longer I'm no longer in the launch format. I'm now in a open enrollment. So whenever
Mm,
you're ready, we're ready. And the cohort is it's sort of a hybrid learning experience where there's one-on-one calls with me. There's a cohort, a group experience, and then there's an online platform. And all three together create this sort of hybrid learning experience that is really cool.
yeah. And you guys we did this back in 2018, 2019 with ours, and it's super helpful, especially for what Nina's doing, because
Mhm.
Nina's going to tell you how to do something. But the one thing with video is you have to be comfortable doing it. So when you have more experienced people mixed in with
Mhm.
you just starting, sometimes they can give you some workarounds to get going, because it's not, video's not like just me telling you to do something may not feel as comfortable to you as someone giving you a little workaround to baby step you into comfortable.
Yeah.
So it really is. I find that with my own, I have ideas, but my ideas can be implemented in different ways. So how do we
Mhm.
sign up for that cohort? How do we find you and get going?
Well, I mean, so the cohort is by invitation only. That means you have a call with me first because I want to make
Okay.
sure you're ready, you're a good fit. And if you're not quite ready yet, I might give you a little homework to get you ready. And sometimes people also are just much better off in the one-on-one experience. So the easiest, the best way is just to go to our clockwiseproductions.com website. And to our lead magnet, interesting enough, is a quiz that was done by the lovely Juliet. So
Ta-da.
to do the quiz, it's a great way to see where you're benchmarking yourself with your video production, or where you're not. And that will automatically put you into our ecosystem. If you want to just talk to me directly because you know that you're really interested, my email is nina@clockwiseproductions.com, or just look me up on LinkedIn. I'm the only Nina Froriep there. And it also gives you a chance to get an insight into how, so we do as we preach. We post daily on LinkedIn, Monday through
Yeah, they do.
Friday. And we do video, I would say at least a minimum 3 times a week, if not 5. So you really get a real sense if you scroll through we're a team, through my LinkedIn profile, you get a real good sense of what kinds of videos we will help you create.
Great, great. Nina, it's been fun. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This went fast. It's always
Uh,
when I get to talk about what I love talking about, time just always flies.
it does. It does. And you guys, when you see this, by the way, I believe it's going to be airing in March, either late February, early March. Nina's going to be our feature in April Breakthrough Author Magazine. So be sure you go to www.breakthroughauthormagazine.com and get your subscription, and you can find out a little bit more there.
Wonderful. Sounds great.